Before we get into some of the details about how this is all put together, there's a name that keeps coming up here, and it's kind of a really big deal. National Association of Rocketry. This is something with a tremendous amount of expertise, and it's all across the nation, correct?
Correct. This National Association of Rocketry is the oldest rocketry association in the United States. We have about, 4,500, 5,000 members throughout the U.S., and actually we have a few international members as well. We promote the hobby of model rocketry and safety in rocketry.
Now this covers a gamut of activities, everything from the little Estes rockets that I started out with as a kid to some serious high-power rocketry, correct?
That's correct, yeah. Anywhere, like you said, from little tiny rockets several inches high to things 6, 7 feet high and pretty large in diameter and make a lot of smoke and noise and go up pretty high.
And as I understand it, this is also kind of a birthing place for a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of interesting technologies. This isn't so much a hobby as a research hobby. Everybody's learning and pushing all along.
Yeah, our scientists and model rocketeers do a lot of pretty amazing things with different electronic components in their rockets. Anything from altimeters that deploy parachutes and other recovery devices at a certain altitude to just being able to measure how high the rocket went. They're also doing some pretty neat stuff with telemetry now, where you have a radio unit on board the rocket and it sends a signal back down to Earth, and they measure things like pressure, temperature, other kinds of sensors in the rockets.
If you own a Cirrus today, or if you are considering the purchase of a new or used aircraft, consider this. Aviation, in conjunction with the country's leading Cirrus sales and maintenance facilities, has launched the G3R9 program that combines the purchase of a late-model, low-time Cirrus aircraft and the addition of the Aviation Integra Release 9 avionics suite for much less than you may have thought, and certainly much less than purchasing a brand new aircraft. G3R9, combining the best airframe, best engine, and best avionics for the best value.
This is, above all else, a competition. It's an opportunity for high school students from across the nation to see how they meet up against others of their ilk. What is the competition about? And let's talk about the technical challenges involved in TARC 2010.
Okay, so the students have quite the challenge this year. They have to launch a single raw hen's egg to exactly 825 feet and have it recover in 35 to 40 seconds. We've actually challenged them a little bit more, and they have to bring the egg down using a safe recovery device, which is called a streamer this time instead of a parachute. And that streamer is essentially a rectangular piece of material that hopefully will flutter in the wind as the egg capsule comes down safely to Earth. There's a lot of challenges that these kids haven't overcome, and it's really teaching them to balance a lot of different aspects of the rocket profile at one time. And oftentimes, if you watch the kids when they're practicing rocket, they'll hit exactly 825 feet. And then it takes, the recovery is too fast, too slow, so they have to make adjustments. And there's a lot of trial and error and refinement of the process among these kids.
Freedom through control. Cirrus has completely reinvented the personal aircraft and the entire experience of owning a personal aircraft. It's a bold new take on private aviation that we call Cirrus Flying 2.0. You set the schedule. You chart the course. You're in control.
What are you seeing in the approaches that are being taken here? I mean, we look first at middle school to high school, and you would think, okay, there's just so much that they're capable of. But we heard kids talking this morning at breakfast about all the prep that they had gone through and the calculations and research they had undertaken. This is really serious business. How impressed is the real-life rocket community with how these students are taking these challenges on?
I, for one, am very impressed. I mean, these kids have really sort of taken on this challenge, and they're taking it on with gusto. I mean, they're really getting into it. There's a computer program that they can use that simulates the rocket profile, and they play around with that. They do different things to the rockets to adjust things. Tomorrow you'll see kids come out here, 1 and 2 computers in tow, and they're weighing things to the nearest gram and adjusting things, and you'll have somebody down looking at the wind profile and just lots of different aspects of this. They truly, like you said before, they're rocket scientists and they're going at it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I was in the aerospace and aviation community, I'd be out here scouting for talent.
I would too, and that's one of our hopes, and that's one of the reasons that the National Association of Rocketry is teamed with Aerospace Industries Association. Is we see it's good for our hobby to get as many people involved. But again, we talked earlier about it's a bunch of rocket scientists who are truly scientists and engineers, and I, for one, as an engineer, hope that we can get some of these kids interested in the profession so that we have workforce when I hopefully retire someday.
Now, what are you going to be doing here tomorrow?
I'm sort of a jack of all trades here. I help solve problems, and my primary job tomorrow is to make sure the award ceremony comes off without a hitch. So as the day goes on, my job gets more and more scary, and I try to really keep things to a pretty exact time scale in terms of getting the award ceremony, get everybody in the right place at the right time, and on and off the stage as quickly as possible so that they can go enjoy the rest of their evening with a barbecue.